Guys, welcome to the first episode of On the Table's Top, Season 2. I'm Arthur Perkins. This is Apgamingreal. I'm joined by 4 real-life artists who are better at drawing than me, which is not a high bar to set. They are here to make art for you. Every week, we'll rotate who is making the art as we play through a D&D campaign continuously. This is a slight change from the previous season where the artists would change every week and the game would change. We will continuously be playing this campaign for a while. We'll see how long it goes. They might get frustrated when they die a few times. We'll find out. Our artist tonight, Connor, you're our artist.
Hey everybody, I'm conorhughes. I also stream on Twitch at conorhughes. I make comic pages. I make comic art. We have a comic called White Ash that's on Kickstarter. We're on the 4th one right now. Yeah. Come check me out. I normally stream, previous to this year, I was streaming every day, 5 days a week, twice a day. But recently, because I've been taking care of my baby, last little bit, my schedule has been changing up a little bit. I'll be back soon.
The baby just looks like Connor.
Oh, excuse me. All right. So, let's get the next person.
Sleep already, Connor.
yeah. That's my charisma.
Mick, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Hi, I'm Mccomicker is my handle on Twitch. I also have a comic on Kickstarter called Rovers. I stream also somewhat Monday through Friday, usually just once a day. But I'm not actually working on Rovers right now. While I'm waiting for it to be colored, I'm working on a Sleepy Hollow inspired horror comic, and I'll be on Twitch tomorrow around noonish Central Standard Time.
Okay, excellent. Bearded Jalapeno, what do you got going on?
What's up, guys? My name's Ricardo Lima, also known as Bearded Jalapeno on Twitch and all your social medias. I unfortunately do not have a comic on Kickstarter yet.
Join the club.
But we'll be part of the club hopefully this year. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys are having a great day.
Excellent. PlanetKhaos, you are also streaming the show at the same time. Rather than showing the art in as big of a thing as we can, you're showing the players and also the battle area, correct?
Yeah, I'll be switching back and forth between the live drawing and the battle map, but I'll be on the battle map as much as possible.
Excellent, because I can already see on my stream these camera qualities are absolute trash. Complete garbage.
Okay.
The worst you could possibly get. Wow, did I not get this? Are you at PlanetKhaos or PlanetKhaos_art? Is that your Twitch?
My Twitch is PlanetKhaos_art.
Yeah. All right, let me get the real link.
Chaos is with a K. Instagram, it's the same moniker. And I draw D&D creatures. I'll draw game bosses. So I'm just drawing for enjoyment, but I do commissions online and I'll Twitch your commissions live on stream. So it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. And that's me.
So let me make sure I have this plugged in right. And I'm there now. Guys, we have some characters here that we need to discuss, but let me start by saying, well, normally I'd say something like, this is a D&D 5e game. I should start at the beginning of the stream and explain to you why it's different from all the other campaigns, but I'm pretty sure the giant art thing kind of already gave that one away. But we need to talk about these wonderful characters that you guys have created. I think some of you guys have changed a few minor details around, but they're more or less the same as the playtest. We'll go in whatever order you guys want to go with. Who wants to talk about who they are first?
Connor.
I'll go first.
Connor first, really?
All right.
All right.
Jump on in, whoever.
My character's name is Runa. She is a female Earth Ganassi monk. She was, I don't know how much I want to give away, but she's definitely not the most charismatic one in the group, I could tell you that.
Don't worry, Bearded. I've got your character sheet up on my screen so everyone can see everything.
Nice.
Yeah, no secrets here.
all the backstory.
Yeah, I'm kidding, of course.
But yeah.
Cool. My character's name is Kazador Whiteknuckle. He's a dwarf fighter, former security specialist in the mines, and now he's gone out and he's out to make his fortune above ground.
Nick?
My character is Mortrick Egan Hattlespar, a recent graduate of the Belham Ukatug Bard School. I'm on the travel, trying to stay just ahead of my student loan creditors and hoping to find a way to pay it all off.
That's still too real.
We've now established. Look, here's the thing. In lore, we've established that student loan creditors exist in this world, and that's what you know.
That'll be fun. All right, so my character is Rik-Jaxx. He is a deep gnome rogue, and he's one of the survivors of the devastation of Blingdenstone at the hands of the deep drow, or just the drow. So forced to the surface.
That sounds pretty dramatic compared to everybody else. That's real bad.
I've been working on
I
it.
feel like I'm underselling your premise. I apologize.
No, it's good. It's good. I like this one. Sometimes there's this thing where D&D people, especially people who are new to the game, when they show up to talk about their character, in character, when they first meet everybody else, they're like, this is my backstory. Let me tell you about the most horrendous tragedy that ever happened to me. And I'm like, is that the first thing you say when you meet people in real life? Like, let me tell you about the time I failed a class in 5th grade. Had to go to summer school.
That's the most tragic.
Yeah, I gotta say, if that's the most tragic thing, yeah.
It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
I was held back 1 grade.
Of everything I've heard tonight.
I confess. And you know what's coming next.
All right. So, any questions about what we're about to do here before we get started?
What game are we playing?
Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition.
Oh, okay, cool.
You got your rule book and your character sheet, right? That's really all you need.
For sure.
I mean, more or less, I'll tell you what dice to roll, and if you're using Roll20 at its maximum capacity, you can just hit buttons and it'll do all the dice rolling for you.
I had one quick question.
Mm-hmm.
You know the initiative dice roll button? That one doesn't seem to work. How's that one work?
All right. So in order for that to work, I have to pop initiative out like this.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Let me clear that.
Popping it out like that.
Yeah, you just gotta pop it out and
Did
stuff.
you just do that on camera?
Ooh, what?
Pop it out. Wait a second.
Pop it out on camera?
Yeah, I popped it on camera.
Oh. All right.
One time I pulled my sack out on camera. My dice sack, that
Dice
is.
sack?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you get us all banned in one try.
I thought you'd like that one. So let's talk about the premise. If you disagree with anything I'm about to say, let me know. But this game starts with a once upon a time. There was a terrible Dark Lord, a demonic figure of incredible power who went throughout the land, blighting the wise, corrupting the pure, and striking down the just. In order to stop this terrible figure from unleashing its wretched plans upon the world, the 5 metallic dragon gods gave their lives to empower 5 heroes with a seal. After questing across the land, defeating the generals of the Dark Lord, these heroes placed upon the Dark Lord their seals, and forever locked him away in a prison. But even eternity cannot hold back corruption. And thus, the 5 heroes passed their seals on to their descendants. One of the descendants kept track of the others and formed the Fellowship of Saint Mercia Ravenaver, also known as the Fellowship of Finding. Our heroes, or should I say apprentice heroes, are but journeyman members today, seeking to join the Fellowship of Finding. They are hot on the trail of the first artifact, Dunslow's Ocarina of Fascination. They have been sent by their patron, the wizard Mardrovian, to Apple Valley, where it has been said in a short prophecy given by a cleric that one might find a snippet of information about where to find Dunslow's Ocarina of Fascination. And so our four heroes, their cart and their horse Winslow, all crest over the last mountain pass to Apple Valley, a beautiful land filled with apple trees in every direction, in full bloom. As you make your way over the hill, Dunslow stops and snickers at a nearby apple tree, and a man comes out from behind the tree, weathered, tanned, healthy, with a glow about him, and says, "Ha ha! Travelers, welcome! The name is Roderick. Are you passing through Apple Valley, or have you come for a short stay?"
Come for a short stay. Pleasure to meet you.
So he reaches up and plucks an apple from the tree and holds it out to your horse Winslow and says, "Can I offer you a drink? Some strong cider, perhaps, or just juice?"
Just juice will be fine.
So he pulls out a flask. It's shaped like a wine flask, but when you smell it, it's clearly not but apple juice.
It's quite the apple juice. And I pass it to any one of my comrades.
I'll take a swig.
Connor, are you muted?
Yeah, Connor's muted.
I see him
yeah.
talking.
I had some noises in the background. Sorry.
Okay.
It's because Connor doesn't know how the internet works.
I was saying, you sure you don't have anything stronger in the back? We've been on the road for quite a bit.
Well, if you're looking for something strong, might I suggest you head into town? There's an inn on the north side, the Broken Thorn. You might be able to find a good mug there, but the innkeeper is known to be something of a teetotaler.
That means he doesn't drink.
I mean, she doesn't drink, but yes.
She doesn't drink.
There's a question. What are we actually seeing being drawn right now, Connor?
I'm drawing another dwarf. I've been sort of working around my character for a bit here.
Yeah, you're working on Kazador, right?
Yes, we're working on Kazador. So I've just been going through a bunch of different versions, doing some warm-up sketches. And yeah.
All right. Let me ask now that we have all of you gathered around your wagon, taking a break after your long travels to Apple Valley. What do you look like? Now, I know we have some art, but I want to hear from your words. What do each of your characters look like?
So Runa she's very half-orc featured. She was a half-orc before she became a Ganassi, so she was in a tribe and wandered off from her city and was trapped in a ravine and was infused with these arcane energies and became an Earth Ganassi that way. So she's very half-orc featured, but her skin is like a darkish blue, almost dark brown. She's very thinly featured, although she has good musculature, but very thin in frame.
Okay, I'll go. So Rik-Jaxx is a deep gnome. He wears leather armor, carries a rapier and a matching dagger. He keeps himself cloaked up, mostly because he's still rather light sensitive. So he tends to kick back behind everyone else, hang back a little bit.
Mortrick is a little too tall, a little too thin. His nose is a little too pointy. He wears, just pretty common clothes, but I do have my Letterman's cloak that I got from placing 5th in state on fencing, and I like to keep it clean and immaculate. I'm constantly, brushing stuff off and never pass up an opportunity to lint roll it.
Kazador is a little weather worn. He's sort of seeing better days. He's got his age. He shows his age from traveling and from having had quite a bit of combat experience. But his armor is sort of holy. It's kind of rusty. It's a little bit unkempt. And he's looking a little pretty tired from this trip.
Excellent. So I should note, for many of you, the dwarven lifestyle, or at the very least the underground lifestyle, is no stranger. You either have lived that life or are aware of those that have. And to you, this is not just a dwarf that you look upon, but on the eastern wall that calls this place Shadow Valley, the mountain here has a dwarven figure up top it. But this is no mere regular dwarf warrior. This is an ancient dwarf lord in resplendent full plate with sigils and runes carved across his body, holding aloft his axe of office, his horned helm reaching towards the heavens. You have not heard, perhaps, of who this lord is, but you do know that there must be significant treasure there, for dwarves are rarely buried away from their gold.
And who might our ancestor be high up on that mountain?
So Rorik turns and says, your ancestor, huh? We have no idea. We call it the Tomb of the Unknown King.
Unknown. Where's your lore books?
Lore books, you say? I think I had someone read a book to me once.
Like, you guys don't have, like, a lending library or anything around here?
A lending library? You sound as if you were from the south. No. These are the lands of Baron Snarlblast. We have no libraries around here. We'll find a good storyteller passing through once in a while.
In my hold, we would keep great tomes of all the deeds of yesteryears, and it would certainly be a shame on anyone to have lost any of those tomes.
So he plucks an apple and walks forward and passes it down to you and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Friend, we are not in your hold. Welcome to Apple Valley. We will sing many songs. Perhaps your passing through here might be remembered in one, should you do anything significant, although I'd advise you to not cause trouble."
Hey, we're not here for trouble.
That's good to hear.
To the inn, then.
Yes, let's make it quick.
Before you go, can I ask, why are you boys here?
Why are we here?
I kind of forgot, actually.
You have been sent by your patron, the wizard, Mardrovian, in order to find more information about Dunslow's Ocarina of Fascination.
All right, I need to
It was
write
one of the
some
5 seal artifacts.
Mardrovian.
Yeah, so let me ask real quick. I kind of know the answer to this question, but what is y'all's experience with Dungeons and Dragons?
Right, so I haven't really played any kind of Dungeons and Dragons before. This is sort of my first time. I've always been wanting to play, and I've played a little bit, like very informally with some friends, but nothing like this, certainly. And so yeah, this is my first time.
This is probably my 10th or 12th game, somewhere in there. Like, I've played more than once. I just foolishly was not taking notes while you were dropping all this information.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Such a fool.
I have a suggestion before we continue with that. Someone should probably make a Google Doc that you all like give everybody editing privileges and take notes and store equipment there. And that way, not everybody has to be paying attention all the time. Like, sometimes you guys hear the word Mardrovian and you're like, oh, what is that? Like French? And someone else is probably like, no, wait, that's that guy we know. Write that down.
Yeah, I'm writing some stuff down in my notebook, but
Good plan.
Yeah, I feel
Plus,
like
if you're drawing at the same time, sometimes it's hard to like take in all that.
Exactly. That's why I feel like having a communal notes thing would be good. Now, I rudely interrupted. The rest of you, D&D experience.
For me, I played a lot when I was younger, but I haven't played a group session like this in decades, so definitely out of practice.
But I played quite a few games. I'm actually in about 3 games right now, not including this one. So
That's impressive. They're not easy to maintain.
they are not. Luckily, it's all a bunch of the same friends. So once somebody's like done DMing or needs a break, we'll step in and do another game. So
Yeah, that sounds like insanity.
it works. we meet every week. So
it should be noted that the first arc of this game will be called Shadow over Apple Valley. And as you travel down into Apple Valley, we see the sun pass behind the tomb of the unknown king, this dwarven lord, and cast a shadow down over the town. And that's when some really ominous theme music starts playing in order to indicate, like, whoa, and then the Shadow over Apple Valley logo comes over the TV screen, and we know, like, oh, this is the first episode.
Excellent.
and a loading screen.
Yeah, loading screen.
This is my favorite part.
Yeah. It's like there's a montage of us all walking down like this misty valley into the town.
So,
Is that the ominous music?
yeah,
Yes.
it shouldn't be super ominous, just like lightly ominous.
It's not like
medium ominous.
lightning cracking and like Transylvania type ominous.
Yeah, exactly. We have that. We have that on storage. So I'm using
that's
music
later.
from Drummer Boy and Tabletop Audio.
We don't want to roll initiative right now, guys.
Baron
You can't go
Strahd shows up.
straight into the high tones. You got to sort of ease the viewers into the situation. You got to save that for like when the Balrog comes out.
You travel between the twin rivers that surround the Apple Valley. Small bridges have been set up. The houses are few and far between, but there are many people living in each one, and it seems as if hundreds, if not thousands of people live in this peaceful small valley cut off from the rest of the world by the mountains that surround it. Many reach out a hand towards you in fellowship and welcome, but few approach you as you travel towards the center of town. As you reach the town, you immediately find the inn, one of the few standing structures that are permanently set in what might generously be called a central area. A sign labeling it as the Broken Thorn certainly exists, but whether it's an actual inn or something far less, it's hard to say. There's a single stone wall that appears to have been salvaged from a fire somewhere. The damage to it is readily apparent, but the rest of the building is a wooden shack, using the hearth and the stone wall as a fortress. The wood, much newer than the stone, is still in terrible condition.
Does it look like a maintenance thing? Like, do they just not keep things up around here?
This building does seem to be in much worse shape than the other buildings around it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna turn to Rorik.
So Rorik stayed at the field in order to keep the apple harvest. You've traveled without Rorik.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna hop down off the wagon and just barge right into the inn, which I'm going to say with air quotes.
You barge into the inn. There are a half dozen occupants inside. Some seem local, others are definitely travelers like yourselves, but the innkeeper is readily apparent as she immediately turns towards you and shakes a lantern and says, "What are you doing, kicking open my door?"
I like to make an entrance. It's the first lesson you learn in bard school.
You sound like a bard. Of course you're a bard.
I take offense at that. You look like an innkeeper.
Well, I am an innkeeper. The name is Ares.
Well, then we both know who each other are. Anyway,
I have no idea who you are. You haven't introduced me.
I'm a bard. You're an innkeeper, correct? Is this the inn you keep?
It is my inn, and I don't keep insolent fools.
All right, listen. We may have gotten off on the wrong foot due to your misunderstanding. So I'm going to back up, and I'm going to try this again. I am
let me cut in just for a sec. So being the rogue that I am, I'm going to hang out outside the door, just kind of keep an eye out, make sure nothing, suspicious is going on outside, since the town is new to us and we're new to the town.
Of course. I should say, Mortrick, that you have attracted the attention of everyone in this inn.
All right, so I'm gonna pull out. How much do I have? I'm gonna pull out a single gold piece and be like, I'm a bard, and I'm looking for a couple of rooms to stay in. Maybe up to 4?
There are no rooms here to have to offer. You can take a blanket and a pillow by the hearth. And she gestures towards the hearth where there are about a dozen blankets and pillows that are scattered haphazardly. Several of them appear to be occupied because they have packages set next to them. If you're looking for a better room, I suggest you find another inn somewhere else outside of Apple Valley.
That won't be necessary, Ares. Thank you very much. I apologize for our bard here. He's obnoxious, and we also find it's the same complaints you might find against him.
Well, that's good, because now there's 2 bards in town, and that's twice as many bards as I don't like to have.
There's another bard here? What school are they from? Do you know? Where's he at? Can I talk to? I don't know if I want to talk to him.
When you say that, in the corner, there was an individual who had their boots up on the table rather rudely. And when you ask if there's another bard, he picks up a steel string guitar sitting next to him and plucks a chord.
Guitar bards are the worst.
Twice.
So you hear from him, he coughs and says, "What type of bard are you?"
I am a beat bard.
Are you one of those vocalists that does like the singing with your mouth, making music?
If I may. Apple Valley, set between 2 rivers, flowing, still, quiet.
I can't believe that they considered you an artist. How did you graduate, son?
It was a pretty small local school. They got to keep their numbers up, so they just kind of push us through. But where'd you go to school at?
Well, I'm from the Badlands up north, and I went to the School of Hard Knocks.
Ooh, that sounds pricey.
Not really. It's a local establishment, but you get a good education there. So the innkeep will take your gold piece out of your hand and look at it and then bite into it and say, "This is enough for 4 of you. 1 night with meals.
What?
1 mug apiece."
One mug?
What is the meal? Hold on.
Pottage and dwarven beer.
All right. I'm gonna turn to my compatriots. They're like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll spring for tonight, but I'm not paying for another night of this. That's on you guys.
I'll stay with the cart and try to figure out a place to keep it for the night, because I'm assuming she's not going to let me just park it right in front of the inn.
When you say that, she's just like, "No! You can leave the cart out there."
Wait, we can leave the cart out there?
Yes. I like it when people leave carts out there. It makes it look like I have business.
But will our cart still be there in the morning?
This is Shadow Valley, or this is Apple Valley. You think people are going to steal things here?
You just stole a gold piece from me for 2 blankets and a mug.
It's 4 blankets and 4 mugs, and I didn't steal it. You asked for a room. Well, I made room for you.
A room?
Do you want your gold piece back? She licks it and then starts handing it to
Out of
you.
her hand.
All right, it's covered in her spit. It's disgusting.
I'm gonna immediately drop it on the ground and like step on it, try to wipe it off on the dirt.
Well, that shows how much you think of me.
And I'm gonna fish out a copper piece. Be like, here, 4 blankets, 4 ones.
For a copper piece?
Have
No
you
way.
seen the state of this place? I just know those blankets are infested with lice.
No, gold piece or nothing. You can leave.
I'll go up behind Mortrick and just put a gold piece in her hand. We thank you for your hospitality.
See, why can't you be more polite like that?
And then I'll bend down to Mortrick and be like, she said 1 cup, not how much beer we can put inside of it.
All right, but she's never gonna learn this way.
We'll make her learn.
All right. Once I have the gold piece sufficiently scrubbed off in the dirt, I'm gonna pick it up, put it back in my purse, and just give her the hairiest of hairy eyeballs.
All right. So there was a question as to how much gold you guys have. So each of your backgrounds, when you made your character, your background should tell you how much money you got in addition to your equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have.
So some of you will be rich, and some of you, according to
As a
your
monk, I will not be rich.
yes, the outcast probably will not have very much money.
Yeah. Is it under equipment?
Yeah,
It's under your background. It will tell you what amount of money you got.
Gotcha.
So, for instance, entertainers start with 15 gold pieces.
Minus 1 gold piece.
Minus 1 gold piece.
What do rogues typically start with?
So it's not what class you are; it's what background you chose.
Yep.
So let's
I've
see
got
here.
15 gold. Does that sound like it was typed in, or does that?
Yes,
sound like
that is correct. Most of the packages start with 15 gold, and then like some minor things like a musical instrument or a ring or something like that. Yeah, so I mean, Kazador is kind of rich because he's got those artisan tools, I believe, which you can sell for quite a bit of money.
Yeah, he's got experience building, basically defenses. And so that's why he has those tools. Are you sure? I'm trying to find where his money would be. And,
It's 15 gold pieces, but
under inventory at the top of the page.
yeah.
Your sheet.
So all of you have settled into this inn to some extent, except I believe Rik-Jaxx, who's keeping an eye on outside.
Yeah, I'm thinking if we're leaving our cart and our supplies outside, I'm going to be staying outside.
Now, Rik-Jaxx, you have been inducted into this hallowed, ancient organization known as the Thieves Guild, or at the very least, you speak the language. And to you, this town reeks not of a happy valley, but of fear. When people turn to look at you, they seem nervous. Even the merchants who are trying to offload their wares nearby in the centerpiece of town all seem eager to pass through as quickly as possible. The people there are settling for any price in order to get them to leave.
How close are we to sunset?
Several hours at the very least.
Okay. I will not take off, but I'll take the hood of my robe off. Not my robe, but my cloak. And I think I'm going to go walk around the town while these guys are preparing the room and getting drunk and just kind of get a lay of the land.
Not that drunk on one mug of beer.
One
Not unless
cup.
they're really lightweight.
1 mug, not the fluid ounces.
They have beer in pints?
You know it came in
I
pockets.
gotta get one.
What are you looking for, Rik-Jaxx, as you wander about?
I have this habit of just kind of overhearing people talk, because when you can hear gossip, you kind of learn some things about towns and cities and stuff. Usually I can find out what might be the biggest concern for the town that way. So I will just explore, walk around, keeping an eye out.
Make a investigation check real quick.
skills. I think that's my strong point too. Let me see. No, but anyway, okay. Investigation. Here we go.
First roll of the game. No big deal. 17. Acceptable. Acceptable. Kind of high. Some would say very good.
Someone would say ka-ching.
Yeah, exactly. As you pass through the town, you overhear various things from the merchants, and you quickly come to accept that someone named the Lady Gale in the northern Badlands has been accepting bribes from adventurers for exceptions to local laws and favors. It is on the lips of every merchant, and small bits of coin are passing as they bring the news to the locals. The locals, for their part, are extremely close-lipped. Many are excited about the upcoming apple harvest, but it quickly becomes apparent to you that despite the large number of people living in this valley, there are few young adults. There are children that you see scattered about, taking lessons from various artisans or really anyone that they can apprentice themselves to. And there are many who you would consider in the middle-aged or even into the elderly stages of life. But there are few and far between young adults, and those that you do see have dark circles under their eyes and shun away from you, avoiding you at any cost. Ducking into buildings, disappearing behind hay.
Understood.
It is uncomfortable.
And they seem most uncomfortable when they're actually looking at me.
Indeed.
Is that correct? Okay. All right, so recap. I'm hearing that Lady Gale is accepting brides from adventurers.
Yes.
But I don't know the why of that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Apple harvest, and then the few adults. Okay. Is there anyone around that I can see that perhaps I might be able to identify as local thief folk?
There are not many here whom you would identify as thieves folk.
Okay.
But you do pass by a provisioner's, like a general store, where
Okay.
outside you hear the owner arguing with someone over poisons. And when he sees you, he makes a quick motion with his hand. That's a very obvious Thieves Guild greeting.
Understood. All right, so I'm gonna walk into his store and wait until he's done with his argument and wait for him to come back in.
The argument lasts for several more minutes. It's hard to tell as it seems to be broaching several languages and many obscenities, several of which are incredibly creative that you might not have heard of before. When the man walks in, old and weathered, with a mustache dripping down on his face, he says, "Ah, I knew when I saw you. Thief, right? You seem the type to come around here."
I don't really think of myself as a thief, but I managed to get by. I'm a survivor.
Sure. Well, you speak the language at least. I'm not one myself, but I do business with the like. You smoke?
I will try some smoke. What do you
Yeah,
have?
so we call it the Two Rivers leaf around here. We infuse it with a little bit of apple peel.
All
so-
right, sounds good. I'll take my pipe out.
Yeah, he takes his pipe out, and, he fills some in there and then lights you off of his, and he's just like, "So, well, if you heard that argument outside, you know that we don't have any poisons available. You won't be able to get something like that around here. And I don't have any jobs for you. Nothing of that type ever happens in Apple Valley."
That's too bad because I was actually looking for new poisons. It's something that I tend to collect. I like to use it with my hand crossbow. Why don't you have poisons? Have they been purchased by someone else?
The High Prince apparently put out a decree. Baron Snarlblast would be upset, but it's not like he's going to come down here himself and make us make poisons. People crush up the apple seeds around here. turn it into a good fertilizer, but if done poorly, it can turn into a poison. We need poisons like that in order to act as pesticides. Powdered lead, arsenic. It's going to be a tough farm this year without those poisons.
All right. I'm actually going to write that down because eventually my character is going to be making poisons and stuff. Okay. So I'm going to ask him, and I'm not much of a role player, guys. I'm sorry. I can't.
Don't worry about it. We got time to settle in here.
So I want to ask him, where's the rest of the folk who are like me? Where's the rest of the guild? I haven't seen them, and I've noticed that you're missing a lot of your adults in this town.
So he looks over you, and it's clear he's about to make a joke about your race and says, I don't know anybody that's like you. If you mean thieves, it's not that kind of place around here. Nobody to steal from, if you get my meaning. That's more city work. We don't put locks on doors around here, so nothing to break into anyway. And it's not like we keep barrels of gold underneath the harvest.
Understood. What about your adults?
That's a sad story. You sure you want to hear it? Once you do, you might not be able to leave town. You seem like adventure folk. I'd hate for you to get caught up in our problems.
I would be interested in hearing your story because my friends and I tend to look into problems like this if there are problems in the land.
So he takes a deep puff and gestures to two huge padded leather seats nearby. And then he snaps his fingers and the hearth lights.
Nice trick.
I learned a little bit of magic in my younger years. Some call me a sorcerer. Never got very far with it, but who knows what you could do sometimes. Lets me live a comfortable life at the very least. Now, about that story, and as he says that, we fade to black and cut back to the inn.
Okay, perfection.
So I've been spending my time looking around the inn, trying to identify any dwarves, and if I do find any, I would ask them.
There is a dwarf, as a matter of fact. There is a dwarven woman. She's a soldier with a long face, almost like a horse. It definitely looks like someone has broken her nose several times. With auburn hair and blue eyes. But she has a very generous mace. Massive. With it looks like someone built a bastion onto the mace. There's flying buttresses. It's 8-pointed. The thing is ridiculous. You can't imagine that anyone would ever wield it in combat successfully.
Greetings.
Greetings.
That's a lovely mace you have there, ma'am.
I'm gonna elbow him in the side, and I was like, "That was a great one." That's
Is this the first time you've ever met a woman?
Ooh, say no. Say no. It's a trap. Say no.
It's been a little while above ground here.
Oh, well, that's obvious. No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Might I ask your clan?
I don't know the answer to this one.
The Whiteknuckles.
It's from the Whiteknuckle clan.
I haven't seen one of those in a while. I'm Orin of Clan Calendar.
Oh, Calendar. Okay, I know. I've heard of you guys from the under networks.
We make maces.
Could have used
compliment her on her mace again.
Does your friend know that I can hear him, right?
Oh, do you guys hear that well? I just assumed underground. You know what? Just pretend I'm not here. It'd be fine.
I wish I could.
We're already trying. Don't worry.
I get that a lot. I don't know why.
Well, it's probably because of the way you walked in the front door.
Could be. What does Clan Calendar get up to besides making maces? You're just a macy people.
Yes, we're a macy people. All of us are so attached to our maces. We've never left home without them.
I mean, that is a very substantial mace. I have seen some substantial maces before, and that is oof.
Well, it's a calendar mace.
Yeah, no, you're a calendar girl. I could believe it.
I'm just gonna let that one pass. Is someone here your guardian, responsible for you? You seem like maybe you're the adventuring party mascot.
Don't mind Mortrick.
You should say that. Back in my school days, I wasn't the regular.
It's clear she's completely tuned you out at this point.
And I'm just going to keep talking.
Don't mind Mortrick, my dear. I'm just coming to ask you about. Do you know anything about this forgotten king?
The Forgotten King.
Very surprised to hear that no one in the town so far has known anything about it.
You mean the tomb of the unknown king up there on the mountainside?
That's right.
Aye, I know a bit about it. He's certainly not unknown to us, but his true name has been lost to history, but probably he was the lord that ruled over these lands. All of these lands were once dwarf lands. I've heard tales of him before. Some say that he was the greatest dwarven king who ever lived. That he was so wise and so strong that he could hold up even the sky itself, so that the gods could not fall upon the mortal races.
That would be impressive indeed, but it's a big claim to say that he's the greatest dwarven king ever to live.
Well, does stretch the credulity somewhat, as we should remember his name were he actually that important.
That's true. But have you heard anything about the tomb itself?
I have seen it.
You've seen it?
The base, you can see the entrance from the bottom of the mountain.
Okay, you've never...
I have not climbed up there yet, nor do I have the time to. I set out in the morning.
Are you traveling?
I am indeed. I'm selling maces.
Maces.
I don't know why that surprises you.
I would think that you'd want to keep your dwarven secret.
Oh, I assure you, our secrets are a secret, brother. However, there is much need for arms in the human kingdoms. And this Baron, he arms well.
I'm surprised they can use such weighty maces.
Well, we've sized them for humans.
Only dwarves could wield.
We are selling him the maces that we would give to children.
Okay. Play maces. Okay.
Dwarves do not play. She like punches you in the shoulder when she says that. As in like, yeah, obviously we play, but you know. Ha.
Yeah.
When I see her punch him in the shoulder, I'm gonna give him 2 thumbs up.
Why is he holding up his thumbs?
Doing good. Kazador blushes beneath his dirty, grimy face.
So she like leans in close so that Mortrick can't hear and says, "Does your friend need companionship? He seems very invested in this relationship." Constant companionship. There is a woman who came in here last night who seemed like a regular. You might throw him in her direction. To her detriment, of course.
We gotta throw him a bone, though. I can sympathize with that.
He seems like maybe he has a bone.
And where might she be?
Well, I only saw her last night when she came in with the regular crowd. It seems that many in the town come here for drink and food before heading out for the evening. She stayed behind, however, looking for companionship with several travelers here, getting drinks.
So Mortrick does have a chance, you're saying?
With enough drinks?
With enough drinks.
It's a shame you're moving on in the morning.
With that being said, I'll come over with all the drinks like in my hand and kind of pass them out to everybody and be like, and I'll give my drink to the dwarven ladies. Be like, I hope my companions aren't giving you too much trouble.
No, indeed. We'll take this drink and accept it happily.
I'm gonna.
What might your name be?
Like, hey, back off. He's working this one. All right, don't crowd him.
Orin of Clan Kalimdor. Please ignore this dog over here. Apparently its name is Mortrick.
Yes, I most always ignore him.
And so do you travel alone?
Well, I do have my mastiffs. You laugh, but they are actual mastiffs, not like this one.
Are they outside or are they in the inn?
Oh, there's no way I could keep them in the inn. Terrible beasts they are. Well trained, but thirsty and hungry constantly. You know how tunnel dogs are. No, they're outside with my wagon.
I can't imagine you find much sustenance for them in these apple lands.
Well, it has been difficult to find enough meat to feed them regularly. They don't even have meat here tonight with their stew. Just oats and vegetables.
You really did come to a dry town.
It is difficult living outside the clan lands, but you have to go where the business takes you.
And has there been any demand for the maces here in this town? Everyone seems pretty...
She starts laughing, and then some of the ale she was drinking comes out of her nose. She's breaking down in comedy at the thought that this town would be where she needs to sell weapons at. After a few moments to compose herself and pull out a handkerchief to wipe her face, she says, "Have you seen these people? Do you think any one of them would be trained enough to handle a weapon?"
I wasn't thinking that, but I mean, and yet you were here. Surely there was some other path where you might find.
Apple Valley is one of the few passes through the northern lands. I could have taken another path, but there are rumors of the goblins to the west. I didn't want to mess with them. You know how that can go. And they upset the dwarf's stomach, they upset my dog's stomach, so.
Kazador spits on the ground. Goblins.
She spits as well. Goblins.
I'm gonna spit on the ground too. What'd we say? What's going on over here?
Goblins.
Goblins, yeah, those goblins. You know, we just ran into a pair of goblins. When I say pair, what I mean is a cave full of, like, there was a pair of caves. Was it just one cave? I don't know. And then I'm just gonna talk about our last adventure to no one in particular.
The guitar bard just comes over and like grabs you by the collar and drags you away from the rest of the party to the corner where he sits alone.
I'd be like, what? I was doing great over there. This is why you're failing as a bard and find yourself in whatever this place is.
I'm gathering stories around here, partner.
Are there any good stories?
I know many stories around here. Question is, do you know anything worth trading?
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
I said, do you know anything worth trading for a story for?
Well, I have this really great story about a pair of goblin caves. I have an okay story about the time that my bard school lost in an annual barding competition to our arch rivals. And I have kind of a lackluster story about a time I drank too much ale when I was young, and it was messy. And
I don't think I need that story in particular.
Okay. I mean, it's
although I might compose an ode to your failures as a human being, and that would feature prominently as the centerpiece.
You know, my dad told me when I went off to barding school, he said, "Son, you're never going to make anything of yourself." When I like to think I've proven him wrong.
You did graduate, right?
I mean, I like to think that I'm on...
He just starts playing the guitar.
Call it sabbatical.
Now, look, you seem like a right proper fellow, and maybe you have some interesting stories to share, but none of it's got any inkling of the story that I have to share.
Is it a good story?
Well, some might call it the greatest story I've ever told. And then he strikes up a dramatic chord.
I'm instantly hooked.
It's very El Dorado-ish.
Then what happened?
Well, I'm in the mood for a better tale than the ones that Mortrick has been spinning these last few weeks.
Sorry. Are you and your group like coming over to listen to this tale now that he's pulled Mortrick away?
Yeah, I was sort of listening. I was listening out of the side of my ear and sort of saying, "Oh, what's going on over there?"
See, I'm gonna stage whisper to the bard. See, they talk shit on me all the time, and yet they follow me around. What am I supposed to do?
It is difficult being the leader of the party.
It is. It is nice to talk to someone who understands what I'm going through.
Now let me tell you.
Outside.
Sorry, what?
I'm actually outside petting the dogs.
All right. So it should be noted that these are dwarven tunnel dogs. They're all blind, but they have exceedingly good sense of smell and hearing. And when you get near them, they're like, "Rah!" But as soon as you get like within petting range, they smell your hand and then they lick it. And then all of them are like all over you.
Yes.
You're just like covered in massive Doberman style dogs that are completely blind.
Dogs.
Yeah, there's dogs everywhere. So Orin comes over with you to hear the tale from this bard. And before the bard's tale begins, we cut back over to Rik-Jaxx, where the guy's smoking on his pipe and he says, "Well, let me tell you, it has been a time recently. Something came out of that tomb up there on top of the mountain. We don't know what and we don't know when exactly, but it started taking people. Every night. One, maybe two. For weeks on end, they disappeared. We sent word to the Baron. After 2 weeks, the Baron's men arrived. The next day, we couldn't find them anywhere."
How many of the Baron's men?
They said almost a dozen showed up. We didn't hear screams. None of them returned. They just went up to the tomb and they didn't come back. We try to keep travelers from staying here too long. We don't want word to spread. But I don't think the Baron's sending any more men. We just hope that this taking ends soon. Sometimes they leave drag marks. Sometimes it's blood. But no one ever sees who's being taken.
And I'll ask this person, I don't think I ever caught his name, but does he have a map or anything up to the tomb?
So when you ask him for a map, he just like, "Come with me," and then like he like rises and leaves his pipe behind and just like points to the tomb at the side of the mountain. He's like, "If you're looking to climb up there, I happen to have the equipment available for sale here for a good price."
You mean there's no mountain passes heading up to the tomb?
So he gestures. It's like a sheer cliff up there.
Excellent.
There are no mountain passes up there. And like as you look, now that you know what you're looking for, you definitely see where like before you might have thought it might be like some dark patch. You can definitely see where there's like a blood stain of someone being like dragged up the side of the mountain, up a flat sheer face.
How big is this mountain? Like mountain, or just kind of a cliff?
We're talking like 1,000 feet or so.
Okay.
Pretty decent.
Yeah.
All right.
It's no Kilimanjaro, but.
So how much? I'll ask the guy how much for 4 sets of the mountain climbing gear.
Let me look in this here book here that tells me what climbing gear costs. I think there's something called like a climber's kit, right? Climber's kit includes boot tips, gloves, harness, special pythons, blah blah blah, and it costs 25 gold pieces.
What? Okay.
That's per person?
Yes.
I'm a lowly level 1 rogue here, so.
So yeah, when he lists out the price, which is 100 gold, and he sees your face, he says, "Son, if you take these kits and you solve our problem, I'll put credit on your account now, and you bring me the gold when you come back. I'll even let you sell the kits back to me for half price."
Okay. That'll be a deal.
All right.
So I'll grab the 4 kits. I'll give him.
So each of these kits weigh 12 pounds, by the way. So that you're picking up 50 pounds worth of gear.
Okay.
It's like a kettlebell.
I'm like a mighty gnome. Let me check my strength. Yeah, I've got 11 strength. Surely I can carry this.
Yeah. I mean, your carrying should be way more than that. Especially if you left your gear in the wagon and you're not carrying it around.
Yeah, I left the gear. My encumbrance is doing great right now. Okay.
You left a cloak.
Yeah. If I have to, I'll back it in the cloak, throw the thing over my shoulder, and head back to the inn. I'll give him 5 gold for a deposit as well.
Okay. I mean, he'll take that.
Yeah.
You know what they say, 5 gold in the hand is worth 100 gold in the bush? I don't know if that's a thing that they say. Right. No, like now that I got it out there, I feel like maybe that's not a thing.
It was a good effort, but around here, it's a saying. Okay.
This town be weird like that.
All right, so I'm going to thank him for his time. I'll let my friends know, and we'll see. We'll at least do some scouting and kind of see what's going on. At the very least, we'll try to figure out what's taking the people, what's taking the townsfolk.
Okay. I mean, he seems. It wouldn't be relieved, right? Because you haven't solved the problem yet, but it looks like you've taken some burden off of him that has at least de-aged him several years. He takes a deep breath and just... You seem like someone who can get things done.
I hope so. I know we did well against the goblins, so we'll see what's up there.
Well, let's talk of goblins.
Yeah, me and my friends, we kind of took care of this rather large conclave of goblins. There must have been like 30 or 40 of them, and you know, we made our way through. And
you want to make a deception check real quick? You mean like 6 goblins and one like elk?
Deception is right here.
Super vicious.
I mean, so here's the thing.
Ouch.
I can tell based on the size of the die, whether it's 2 numbers or 1 based on how wide it is, and when it's only 1 wide, you definitely know that you probably failed that roll. So I knew as soon as I saw it, even if I didn't know the number, that it was not going to be enough. So he's just like, oh, 30 goblins, huh?
Yeah, well, you know. Spread the word. You know how it goes. And I'll give him the high sign for the high can't. Like, thank you, see you later.
All right, yeah. As you exit, we cut back to the inn where the bard is preparing his story. I use inn very generously. So I feel like this is around the time where Rik-Jaxx comes in to the Broken Thorn hauling these 4 climbers kits on his back.
If those dogs are outside, I probably see him coming, and I'll help him.
All right, the 2 of you struggle the packs in. Not really struggle because you're way stronger. And the bard begins playing a little background tune, kind of like how Mortrick would make some beatboxing noise in order to do his spoken word verses. This guy is just like playing a little idle melody to back up his story, and says, now some of you might know that there's a problem around town. You look around and you see it in the faces of the people around here. So I got a question for y'all.
I'm gonna.
You can stop doing that. I don't know that our styles mesh like that.
I was really feeling the moment, man. We should jam sometime. Is that a thing?
We should jam. We can try it later. We can do some experimental stuff.
Yeah.
Have you heard of jazz?
No, I have not. But
they're doing big things with metallic instruments in the Badlands now. Something called a saxophone.
I can't wait.
Trumpet. Cannons. They're using cannons to make music. Now look, we're getting far aside from the story here. If any of you have any measure of observation in your eyes like I do, I know that you've seen the desperation in the faces of the people around here. You see the hollow eyes and the darkness that therein lies. So let me ask you, you feel like doing something about it?
And I'm there, right? Rik-Jaxx
Yes,
is there?
yeah.
Wait, is that an actual question?
That's a question for you, sir.
Oh, it was a question. Oh, I thought that was the bridge, maybe. I guess, yeah. Technically, that's why we're here.
Well,
I'm not happy about it, but...
now let me say something for you, good sir. you might be worthy of earning my song. All I need for you to do is just play along, because this town needs some adventurers strong. Now, if you look around, I'm sure you can see, are there young adults? Maybe 2 or 3.
Oh, doing good.
But the rest, where did they go? That's something that I don't know. But sometimes in the night I hear some shuffling. Been here just a week. It's kind of nervous when and he stops playing the guitar. When the sun goes down, I don't really know what's happening. I'm not a particularly strong man, you see. My magic's mostly of the mind. I don't carry a sword and I don't have a crossbow. But it looks like you folks are well equipped to handle some investigation. Now, I have a song that maybe you want to hear. It's about a flute. And the man who owns it, a Grand Vizier. When he plays this flute, others follow his command. And it starts to occur to you all that this might be a rumor about the Ocarina of Fascination that you've been sent to find.
Mm-hmm.
If you can solve the shadow cast upon this land, my story you'll find in hand. How's that for a deal, my friends? And then he dramatically... One of his guitar strings snaps in the process. He's like, oh, shoot. I was trying to do a good ending on that one, and it always happens.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? That was amazing. Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
That was amazing, and that does sound like a fair deal. He, Kazador, like, makes a big slap on his hand and says that sounds like a deal.
We didn't get these climbing kits for nothing, I guess.
Yeah, so Rik-Jaxx will kind of let these guys know that based on what he's learned, it's kind of syncing up with this guy's story. So I suggest we either wait at night to see if something comes down the mountain, or maybe we need to get up that mountain before sun sets.
And how close is it to sunset now?
Now, the sun is starting to creep behind the mountain, which doesn't necessarily mean it'll be sunset specifically, right? Because there's a mountain here, and when the sun goes behind it, sunset won't happen for a while. But people are starting to filter into the Broken Thorn from all around and get their, their bowl of pottage and their mug for the night.
We won't have time tonight, so we might have to just wait it out till tomorrow, see what goes down on tonight, and then head out in the morning. Because it'll be dark by the time we get there.
Oh yeah, you're the only one with oh no, you're not the only one without dark vision, right? The bard doesn't have dark vision.
Humans, they can't see very well, they can't smell very well, can't taste very well.
But on the plus side, we also taste awful. So
yes, that's true. And if half races are any indication, you really just get it on with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, what's the point?
Where do you think half orcs and tieflings come from? So your plan is to stay here the night and investigate tomorrow?
Guys, I think we should stay here tonight and investigate tomorrow.
Well, I'm just asking if that's your plan. I'm not telling you that's your plan.
that's what I'm putting that out to the crew as what should be our plan.
Well, we've paid our exorbitant price for the inn. I say we stay.
Right? I mean, it would be a shame. Like, listen, we're gonna wake up and we're gonna be covered in lice tomorrow morning. But I guess we've spent the money, so.
Cazador's a bit of a spendthrift. He doesn't waste.
I also take out my bedroll and put it on top of what she already gave us. So there's.
So when you all are talking about this, the bard leans in and says, "Actually, the accommodations here, 1 gold piece is an exceedingly good price."
Really?
Just the mug of beer and the pottage for the 4 of you alone would have cost 2 or 3 gold pieces.
I mean, that's even more
The
expensive than
accommodations.
dormitory rates.
The accommodations, not so much, but the food.
When you're buying top ramen all the time, you know,
That's true.
1 gold piece for food is a lot.
That's the side of someone who went to college.
Yeah, I'll take my climbing kit, kind of sit down where my bunk is gonna be or where my bedroll is gonna be, and kind of go over all the climbing kits, make sure it's in order. I know where everything is and that sort of stuff.
Yep. Take my bags, my blankets, set it on top of my shield, and lay down.
While Runa goes over her climbing kit, I'm gonna be like also going through my climbing kit, but like I'm cheating off a test, and like as she looks at something, I'm gonna look at the same thing and nod like I know what's going on. And then I'll watch for her to look at the next thing. And then
You're twinning? Is that what you're doing?
I'm like I know what's going on.
I believe the phrase is cheating.
Look, it's not a bad idea to check your climbing kit, even if you don't know what you're doing. If
It's
someone
twice-
pulls something out and you don't have that thing, you should probably be pretty concerned.
Yeah. If it's not mine and I don't use it every day, I'm gonna check it.
I mumbled something about I'm used to going inside mountains, not up them.
So is all my kit good? Is
Yeah,
everything?
kit's solid. You got your carabiners, got your ropes, got your. I think D-rings are carabiners.
Yeah.
I don't know much about climbing kits. I haven't done it before, but yeah, all of the parts that you need are there, including the like boot nails in order to climb up the side.
Cool.
All right, so if this is what we're going to do as a group, then Rik-Jaxx is going to head and now I missed it. Are we in a common room or did we actually get a room?
You are in a common room. They don't have regular rooms. They just have blankets in front of a fireplace.
Okay, so I'll pull these guys aside and I go, okay, if we're going to be staying here the night, here's what I suggest. I'm going to get some sleep now, make sure I'm rested. But once nightfall hits, you guys come wake me up because I plan on being outside and keeping an eye out on this town to see what might possibly come down this mountain.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll keep you company.
Enjoy your slumber.
So, Kazador, are you also going to sleep right now?
Yeah, I'll go to sleep right. Or I guess I'll take the. Maybe no, because night hasn't fallen yet. So I'll sleep right now and then also wake up. Yeah.
Okay, all right. You guys get 2 or 3 hours of sleep before nightfall. Your companions wake you up and trade places with you. You will, however, require at least 6 more hours of sleep in order to not be exhausted the next day. So let me ask a question. What are the 2 people who are standing watches? Passive perception, which should be equal to 10 plus your perception modifier, although on roll 20 there might be something on your sheet that
Yeah,
just says...
mine's
14.
So Luna and I are up
14?
first.
Mine is 15.
What? Wow.
Where's passive perception on the? Is it under skills?
Yeah, it should.
Since if you're looking at you're looking at roll 20. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at roll 20. I can look at
So
my-
on roll 20, if you have the skills thing open, it should have passive as its own column on the right hand side.
yeah.
It'll say pass.
Well, on my D&D Beyond, it's 13. So
Okay.
maybe I did something wrong.
Mine's 15.
Do you have a wisdom modifier, Kazador?
+1.
Yes. And then your perception is you have a bonus of +3. Yep. That'll. Is your athletics really 18, Kazador? 8? You have a +8 at athletics at level 1? I don't know that that's right.
I think that's wrong.
So you should have a proficiency modifier of 2, and then your skills. Oh, I think you're putting your bonus into all these things, and that might be what's... That's what it is. All right, so for Kazador, just real quick, you see it says proficient no next to everything?
Yeah.
All right, so if you set proficient yes, and then you lower your bonus to 0, for all the skills that are there, it should correctly put whatever your actual skill level is.
I should put yes to everything, or just the skills?
Yes to the skills that you actually have proficiency in, and it'll add whatever your proficiency modifier is, which at level 1 should be like a 2.
I have to see what. My
so it'll be 2 plus your modifier, and then like you won't have any bonuses to anything right now, so all your bonuses should be 0. So your passives. So we have passives of 13, 14, and 15, which are all very, very high. I mean, a 15 is incredible. So, team that...
Sorry, guys. I literally don't see it on my skill sheet, and I want to be able to find it. So
let me open up Rik-Jaxx here.
Yeah.
All right, so there's... you have your character sheet open? It says core stats and then skills, right?
Yeah.
All right, so when you click the skill tab, you should see it says Perception Wisdom. It's the right-hand column, third one down.
Yes.
Okay, all the way in the far side, in the blue box, it says pass 10. So pass is passive. So because you don't have proficiency and you don't have a wisdom modifier, your passive perception is 10.
Okay.
So you are averagely good at detecting things going past you.
Oh, that's got to change, but okay.
Yeah. Picking up proficiency in new skills is usually pretty tough, though. Increasing your wisdom is a lot easier. So, the two people who are on watch, if I recall, it's Kazador and Rik-Jaxx.
You guys are the first watch, and then we'll split with you.
Right. Rik-Jaxx, you don't sense anything going on at the inn. However, Kazador, while the rest of your party sleeps, and Rik-Jaxx is staring into the hearth and occasionally taking a patrol outside to look around. You notice Oren going, she says that she's going to go take a leak and feed the dogs. She does not return after a few minutes, and you kind of hear like a muffled noise and then like a dragging noise. The dogs growl briefly and then stop.
Rick, did you hear that?
You did not hear that.
I've only got a 10.
Is that what you turn to him and say, I've only got a 10?
I'm going to be the worst rogue ever. No, I didn't hear that. Why? What did you hear?
I want to go check on Oren. So,
okay.
You head outside to check on Oren.
Yeah. I follow to where the dogs are.
You make your way to the dogs. All 3 dogs have had their throats slit.
By the guts.
There is blood pooling all over the ground.
Is there a trail?
There is a trail.
Okay.
None of it appears to be Oren's. It just seems like someone dragged her through the blood. The trail leads directly towards the mountain. In a straight line. Like if you have dark vision, but you can't see that far, right? You can only see about 60 feet. But I mean, like you're directionally oriented. You know that you're looking right at. If you were to look up, you would see the statue, the tomb of the unknown king.
Rick, I think you should get out here.
Okay. All right. So pause just for a sec, please. It looks like I entered in all my points into investigation, because I think in some circumstances, I think it's more up to the dungeon master. The investigation can do the same purpose as perception. Do you agree with that? Or no?
So it's about how you go about things, right?
Okay.
But you don't have a passive investigation, more or less, right? Like no one, unless you're Sherlock Holmes, you don't sit around and be like, oh, I just solved a crime.
This is a matter of we're doing other things, and then I hear this thing going on at the same time, and so that's perception, right?
Got it. Okay, so mine is more of an active. Okay, all right, understood. Okay, all right, so I'll go back outside and see what's going on too.
Let me say, if that doesn't work for you, and if perception is more of something that you want, you can. I mean, like we're in the first episode here. You can certainly make a quick edit to your character sheet. Maybe somewhere, like probably either for rogue or for your background, there was something that gave you an option between picking perception or investigation as your proficiency. If that's something you'd rather do rather than investigation, let's do it now.
You know what? I'll live with it.
Okay.
So I'll role play it as we go and get used to it. So we'll have some fun, I think. So.
You think? Okay. All right. We'll try to have some fun here. We'll do our best.
I'm gonna examine the wounds on the mastiffs.
Okay. Yeah. It's deep cuts, clearly very quick and with a very sharp blade. There's like no ragged edges. Make a medicine check.
Okay. How do I do that?
So if you have your skill sheet open, medicine should be on the skill page in the upper right hand corner. You just click a button that looks like a die next to it. Boom.
Yeah. Done it.
You have not handled a lot of dog corpses in your life, and you're not a doctor, Jim. Like, nor are you a veterinarian. You're just like sharp knife, quick cut, clean, deep. That's all you got.
These fellows look serious, Rick.
So if I can backtrack a little bit, I wanna kick these guys. Are these guys awake? They are.
They are
awake.
not awake.
No, we didn't wake them up yet. I wasn't sure if we should yet.
Don't even have to backtrack. You just say I go inside and wake them up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you kick them awake. I assume you kick Mortrick really hard.
I
In the
would like
shin.
to kick them awake, and then I want to go back and start investigating the ground, see if I can see any tracks or any clues.
Let's make that roll.
What did he wake us up for? He just
Why did he kick us?
and then left. Like what the shit?
Just come outside.
I hate that guy.
All
God,
right, so
people think I'm
see what
obnoxious.
happens. There we go.
All
I
right.
go outside and I just drop to my knees at the sight of these dogs.
These beautiful
I go
dogs.
over to Rik-Jaxx and I kick him.
Well,
Can I do
you
a
can't
dog
see,
roll?
right? You're human, so it's like a dark moonless sky out there. You go to kick him and like you solidly connect, but you don't know that there's blood around. You're like interfering with the crime scene.
What the hell? What's going on out here, guys?
Rik-Jaxx.
Do you want some light? I'm gonna pop some lights
You pop light, and
because I have.
what does your light spell look like? Are we
It
talking
is-
like it's a flare going off? Are we talking you glow brightly? Oh, you're like a Roman candle sparking.
It's super ineffective. I use it for strobe lights in my performance art. Yeah, no, I'm just thinking like simple globes. I mean, I'm not a very imaginative guy. I failed out of Bard school, all right? Like, you don't get a lot.
Rik-Jaxx. There are foul creatures that live in the darkness. Terrible creatures that are slaves to the drow from whom you escaped from. Some have said that they are twisted dwarves. Others have said that they are simply terrifying creatures of the darkness. But they are known as Darrow. Human dwarf hybrids,
'Cause we'll
monsters,
sleep with anything.
and the cuts that you see, the tactics that you see used here, the way that they surrounded the creatures and attacked, the way that they've moved in the cover of darkness, the sadism involved, you know that this was a Darrow attack.
And are Darrows psionic?
Some have said that they are.
Oh,
Not all
okay.
Darrow, obviously. Like, like maybe there are rumors of psionic Darrow.
Okay.
Darrow that can use magic that reaches beyond what is commonly known.
Okay, can I
Getting this
tell how
information,
many?
but we're not, right? Just making sure.
Sorry, what was the question?
So he's getting the information and we're not, right? Like this.
Yes,
is
because he's
investigating.
investigating, right? Like he's looking around and he's seeing signs of the attack, like boot prints, like ripped fabric, the cuts on the dogs.
Until he actually.
So you know the movies where they're investigating and they're vocalizing the scene, as it becomes clear in their head.
There was a firefight.
Yep. So
It was
I'm
one
gonna-
friggin' huge guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna investigate in that method so that they kind of understand what I'm comprehending as I comprehend it.
Did he say Daryl? Because in school, there's this kid Daryl. He was huge and a total jerk. I hated Daryl.
Derro. Darrow.
I don't think he was saying Daryl.
Okay, so can I see how many footprints?
Yes, there are 3 distinct set of footprints.
And then are we still missing the lady dwarf?
Yeah, she has absolutely been dragged off.
I'm going to place my hand on Kazador's shoulder and say, I'm so sorry for your loss. I really thought you could land that fish.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Well,
It's not too late, guys.
it's not too late.
Let's go.
She was tough. If anyone could survive, I'd say she could.
I mean, I like that you're living in hope, but just remember, if you need a shoulder to cry on, Runa and Rik-Jaxx are always available.
Did you just disclude yourself?
As I'm just like kneeling on the floor in utter astonishment of this. I'm available. What time is it right now, approximately? Is it almost the
Past
morning?
midnight, I would think.
Do I know how long it would take to get from here to the mountain area?
Getting to the bottom of the mountain would be, 10, 15 minutes travel. Climbing up the side of the mountain will be significant.
Yeah. And I didn't even know if that's where they went.
Well,
You know that they
right.
left in that
Kazador
direction
knows.
at the very least.
Yeah, we know
In that direction.
Kazador, not Kazador, Rik-Jaxx talked you through it. Using the power of theater.
Man,
So
really learned
I recommend we try to get them before they get to the mountain, or they might know a way into the mountain, and we might skip the whole
You
mountain.
might not have to climb, because let me tell you, 1, fear of heights. 2, that backpack was really heavy, guys. I don't want to have to carry that.
I'm going to go inside and start packing my things.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Luna
All
and
right.
start packing my things, because I'm going to watch how Luna does it and then do it the exact same way.
She has very different things than you, though. So she's like
make-
rolling her clothes up, and you're like,
I guess
I didn't change my clothes yet. What do I do with my hands now?
Yeah, I have like the third of the stuff you have.
All right,
Right.
so
She's like a monk,
I'm
right?
gonna-
So
Yep.
So Rik-Jaxx is just going to request you guys to bring down his pack. I'm just going to keep looking, make sure that I can confirm what direction she was dragged through.
So are you going alone to continue to follow the trail as far as you can go?
I would say perhaps within the town. Yeah, just want for confirmation, try to get us a head start, because obviously we don't have a way of contacting each other, and I do want to wait for the 3 of them to catch up.
Interesting. Okay. Kazador, what are you doing?
I'm gonna pack up as well. Get ready for the trip. Because I didn't bring out my shield or anything like that, or weapons. So
All right.
getting ready.
So it's really just it's just Rik-Jaxx going alone. All right, Rik-Jaxx, you catch a break. You make your way to the base of the mountain, keeping a distance from climbing it. Right, like you don't have your kit, you're not ready to go yet. But
Right. I'm actually trying not to overtake anyone per se. Okay.
you definitely find, using your previous role and having tracked the Darrow to this location, you don't know where it is, but you know that the tracks end somewhere at the base of the mountain, and they did not climb the mountain this time.
Understood. Okay, so I'm gonna, before I do any further investigation, I will wait, or if I need to backtrack to come get these guys. Like, do I think that they will find me? Like, is the path to this bottom of the mountain pretty logical and straightforward?
Let me ask your friends. Do you feel like you'd find Rik-Jaxx in the dark? I mean, getting to the
I'm just
mountain,
gonna,
not
I
difficult.
leave the inn with my stuff, and I'm just like trekking along until Kazador or Runa stops me, because I'm like, I know where I'm going.
I could probably figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, my character could probably see his tracks.
Your friends catch up with you with no problems.
Okay. So I'll relay what I know. It doesn't look like they climb the mountain. It looks like their path disappears here.
Now, who has the 15 passive perception?
I do.
Is that Runa? Yeah, Runa. As he mentions that, you're just like, oh, there's a fucking secret door. You can see it glowing faintly in the moonlight. There are almost imperceptible to the human eye moonlit dwarf runes that surround like a blank panel. It looks to everyone else as if it's just simple carved stone and there's nothing there. But with your dwarven focus and concentration and your apparently incredible eyesight, you immediately identify a hidden door. It's practically right in front of Rik-Jaxx.
It's literally right here, guys.
Rik-Jaxx like, where'd that come from? That wasn't there a second ago.
It's like
That
the
was
answer
not
to a
there.
riddle. Once it's pointed out to you, you're just like,
You know
ah.
exactly.
Like, oh yeah, no, I noticed. I was just waiting for you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
What did the
Good
runes
catch.
say? What did the runes say? Do I know what the runes
It's a great
say?
question. Who speaks Dwarvish? Dwarven.
That guy.
Kazador, I assume. Can I not assume that?
I hope you assume that.
Kazador. You definitely speak Dwarven.
It's a gaming.
Yeah, I
Checking.
Most of you will speak the language of the race that you are, plus common. And some of you might have an additional language.
I'm-
Common and
I
primal.
I have
think I do.
celestial deep speech and undercommon as
There
well.
you go,
If there's
see.
any crossover.
Also,
Yeah.
the spoken word.
You read the runes. Anyone that can speak Dwarven reads the runes. It is old Dwarvish. It takes a little bit of finagling to translate it. You know, it's like, oh, ye eldest. It's like Shakespeare trying to read Romeo and Juliet the first time. You're like, what's going on here?
I feel that.
Then you watch Romeo plus Juliet, and you're like, oh, man, how did this movie get made? It says, I cover cities and destroy mountains. I make men blind, yet help them see. And when it says men, it doesn't, the word for men in Dwarven doesn't specifically refer to like humans or males. It just means like mortal race.
Well, it's an old dwarven riddle, I suppose, fellas.
Can I hear it again?
Yes, let me get it for you. I cover cities and destroy mountains. I make men blind, yet help them see.
I make men blind, but help them see.
There's nothing D&D players like better than sitting around and trying to solve a riddle.
I'm gonna ask my pet Google that I pull out of my backpack.
Don't do that shit. Don't Google riddles, man. That's the worst. It's the absolute worst. The audience is Googling it right now, and they're like, Arthur, you just ripped that shit straight from the internet. You know how hard it is to make a good riddle? It's tough.
Yeah.
All right,
The last show that I did last Monday, I introduced all of the cast as what piece of a Caesar salad they would be. And that took me 3 hours to write that joke. Riddles are not my forte.
All right, so I think the answer is wind.
Destroy mountains.
I say the word wind in old Dwarvish.
You kind of fudge the word a little bit, you know. It's
Yeah.
hard to get all of the 4 R's in a row with the proper roll. The door does not open. Nothing happens.
Covers city. Destroys mountains.
I'm pretty sure there's a town somewhere in England that has 16 consonants in a row in its name.
Oh, yeah, have you seen
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Welsh.
the weather guy that says it. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's Welsh. It's the longest word in I guess not in English, I suppose, but
English is such a stupid language. What about like a storm or a fog?
Well, try rain.
Rain? Yeah.
Thinking
Rainstorm.
rain.
Nothing's happening.
Just start like running through every dwarven word you know, but slur it just a little bit.
Okay,
Oh wow, chat just posted the name of that city.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I start going through various words like that.
Nothing happens. You know, you're just like Stormfront,
Lightning cast.
Circulonimbus, Cumulonimbus. Surprisingly, in ancient Dwarven, Cumulonimbus is the same as it is in Common. Some have said they have the same root.
There's some overlap. Yeah.
I'll say friend.
Speak friend.
Menlock.
Belloc.
The door does not open.
All right.
Damn it.
So can I have the riddle one more time, please? I got covered cities and tear down mountains.
I cover cities and destroy mountains. Oh, if you've got it, you go ahead.
Yeah, I cover cities and destroy mountains. I make men blind, but help them see.
Mm-hmm.
Light?
Yeah, let's try light.
Yeah,
Or the sun.
Lumos.
Nope.
What destroys mountains? I feel like that's the part that is.
Yeah, to me that's confusing.
Minutes pass as you stand around in the awkward darkness, speaking dwarven words.
What is around us?
Well, for some of you, it's easier to see than others.
I look around. Kazador looks around, and he's just trying to see the lay of the land.
It is obviously there's a sheer cliff of the dwarven mountain sitting right in front of you. It's practically flat the entire way up, 1,000 feet to the tomb of the unknown king. In the other direction, there's a slight dip as the land leads down to Apple Valley. You obviously can't see that far, but there are some still lit hearth places where you can see a glow coming from chimneys, and occasionally, very rarely, a still lit lantern in a window.
Really sorry, guys. I had a joke book, but I sold it to raise money to, make ends meet, and I really feel like if I just held on to it, we'd be past this already. That's on me. I apologize. I've let the team down. Because I got nothing.
You are the face, and you're not working with us here.
Still pretty dark outside. Well, at this point, looks like we're freaking climbing.
Do we lose is this like, nighttime related? Like, if we don't figure this out tonight, do we have to wait again, or?
Well, we're not going to know that until we answer the question or know more about the riddle. Like, we can't know that.
I don't think this will be it, but try fog.
Fog.
That doesn't work.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was never good at riddles.
Yeah.
Water? No.
I mean, I've typed it into my search bar, but I haven't pressed the enter button yet.
That's desperation right there.
But I just, when I was typing it out, like to know what to type, just to have it. That was the first thing I did.
Just to have.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna cheat. I just.
It's like you got your Game Genie loaded up. You got your SNES cartridge loaded into it. Do you put in the numbers, or do you just have it there just in case you want to skip the first boss? Gosh, there's a whole generation of kids that don't even know what Game Genie is. I just realized that. There are people going to college that never saw Game Genie.
I was like trying to explain to my daughter why the save icon
looks like a floppy disk.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Can I roll like insight or history
absolutely.
or something to try to figure some stuff out?
This is exactly what the insight skill is for.
Okay. Oh, that's a 9.
No. You use the roll 20. Look, we have I know, but we have quantum rolls here.
Okay.
What they do is
I have to type it out though because I didn't put it in my sheet.
That's true, but don't worry. It's like you're getting a whole second roll here for free. Just this one time though.
I just rolled also.
A 17 insight. Jeez. Freaking dwarves broken. They're gonna get nerfed in the next patch.
To roll in.
Just so you know, I've got 10 insight, so I'm going to have fun.
Oh, that's not bad.
All right, Runa and Kazador, the two of you sit down. You what's the word? You dicker about. You're just like at the same time. One of you says something, and you look down at the ground and you notice something grainy, and you start thinking about glass. And at the same time, you both come to a conclusion: it's sand. Sand destroys mountains and also can be made into glass, which helps men see.
Oh, like glasses.
All right.
Say glass or sand.
You immediately say glass and nothing happens.
Glass. Sand.
The door just disappears.
Sweet.
Inside is a dark tunnel that leads deeper and deeper into the mountain.
Now, I know this doesn't have to be said, but I feel like I should say it. We should probably not be too loud in here. And I stare right at
What?
Mortrick.
Mortrick.
Okay, fine. I got it all out. I'm good now.
Wonderful.
So let me ask a question first. Some of you can't see without an additional light source. For instance, I believe that Mortrick is currently casting light about himself.
Yeah, do you guys want me to kill this?
Oh,
It
yeah,
definitely shines into the tunnel.
Probably, yeah, definitely kill that.
All right, I'm gonna. Who's taking the lead?
Definitely.
I can do that.
Am I the only one who can't see?
I can't either.
Okay, so I'll go number 2, and I'll just have my hand on the shoulder of probably Kazador. Right? Is he leading this?
Yeah.
Maybe not. He's tunneling my wrist. Maybe we don't want him in front.
Kazador, do you want to go, or I can go, or I can be the tail of the group and make sure nothing comes up behind us?
I'm excited. My character's pretty excited about exploring this dwarven hold. So, he's definitely pretty keen on being the first to go in.
Okay, yeah. So I'll follow up.
Let's do that.
Wait. Do we have rope?
Homes.
That might be.
We have rope with the climbing kits.
Yeah. So I say let's rope up. You know, like Kazador can carry the rope, and then Rik-Jaxx can carry the rope, and then Runa and I can hold on to the rope in the middle.
We're all saying this very quietly, by the way.
Very quietly.
Okay.
And I've already killed my lights.
Because that's how roleplay works, people.
Yeah.
Say something and the DM's going to roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
That does sound like something I would do.
Does that sound like a plan, everyone?
Okay,
All right, guys.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Good.
So what's who's after Kazador? What's our
I'll go
marching order?
second.
So if I've moved you guys over to this map, you can physically rearrange your characters
Okay.
into the correct order.
Whoops. I was going to move me.
I
in
get
it.
you.
All right, there we go. I'm there. I'm right behind
There we
Kazador.
go.
Kazador, stop moving. I'm already there. Don't leave me behind.
We just got this fake Kazador token until we got the full Kazador. Man, he's looking pretty badass right now. Like, I know I haven't talked about it, but he's got like, you know, the like facial blush going on. He too seems like maybe someone broke his nose at some point.
Yep.
I really like the little braid in the hair though. That sells me that he's a dwarf.
Thank you. Yeah, I gotta work on getting the beard done, but yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Beard is tough, trust me.
Yeah, it is tough.
I'm not even talking about art. I'm just talking about beard in general.
I feel that.
Yeah.
You have to work on these flesh tones though. These aren't like coming out right. I don't
know.
Looks good on my screen. Yeah.
Looks like me without makeup right there.
Looks like he's had a few brews. He gets like red in the face when he drinks.
Yeah, exactly. He's just that super red, like earthy tone, skin tone.
So just to be clear, Mortrick is crawling around in the darkness, tied to somebody with a rope.
No, my suggestion is that Kazador holds the front end of the rope, and then Rik-Jaxx holds the back end.
Oh, so you're all like advancing into the deep mountain, and the two
Right.
people who can't see are holding a rope. Okay, all right. So we
Right.
get the four of you creeping through the darkness. You come to a bend in the tunnel, and as the camera goes around into the darkness, a screen pops out that says, "After these messages, we'll be right back." We're right at the 2-hour mark.
Perfect.
So we will be taking a break. We'll be back to, oh boy, that hat did a number on my hair. All right, well, we'll be back in about 8 minutes for the second half, where we'll continue the adventures of this fellowship and find out, will they die on the first night? Who can really say? Things got a little creepy. There's a bunch of dead things now. We'll
I'm
see.
gonna say yes. I'm gonna say we're gonna die.
That went by really fast.
I thought it did too.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys in about 8 minutes.
Right.